The Football Show
on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more live on Sky Sports.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then.
What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Welcome along to Wednesday evening's football show, or as I like to call it, Kenny Cunningham holds court for an hour.
Kangaroo court.
This is where Kenny gets in a soapbox, State of the Nation style, and deals with all of the footballing issues one by one. Acerbic wit and deep intellect. Hey Kenny, Kylian Mbappe. So I think Kylian Mbappe is going to struggle in certain respects to catch some of the Ronaldo, Messi numbers because they're so extraordinary and, you know, there's injuries and things go off the boil. However, one category where he may well catch both very, very soon. It's not the most glamorous one, but hey, he'll take what he can get right now. Away Champions League goals, the all-important category. So top of the heap for away Champions League goals across his career is Cristiano Ronaldo with 23 away goals in the Champions League. Second, Lionel Messi with 12 away goals in the Champions League. And Kylian Mbappe at the age of 23 has 11 after his goal this evening in the Bernabeu. So he could be top of that pile, I was thinking, about 10 years' time safely.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty impressive in terms of
for
amount of time, 23 years of age, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you think of it, the type of player that he is, how dangerous he is on counter-attack. We've seen it tonight, you know, scoring away from home kind of, you know, marries up with that, doesn't it?
So it's been a real underlining of his status in the game, I think, this leg and the previous leg where he scored the only goal. I mean, 2-0, he's been the difference. Real Madrid fans looking on. I would think the Mbappe family, his representatives, are just adding zeros to the checkbook right now. And PSG are going to have to, well, you said they'll just double it.
Yeah, but it's amazing. It's kind of a given he's on his way, and it's almost a given that it's got to be Madrid. There's nobody else really in contention. Although Real Madrid have had their problems financially the last couple of years, it looks as if they can dig deep in terms of putting some ridiculous numbers in front of them, but it hasn't. But nobody's really put the counter argument that, you know, whatever Real Madrid put in front of them, you can rest assured that PSG not only will be able to better it, but to some degree.
Yeah. So
there's even been talk, I mentioned there, somebody threw the figure of €100 million a year per annum PSG, and I mean it's actually relatively easy to figure out. You know, 50 weeks in a year, boom boom. 2 million, that's 2 million a week, Joe. And a lot of talk was of Haaland in the summer, Raiola looking for 500,000. He was going to be, you know, 500,000 a week. This was the crazy figure that he was going to be looking for if you're going to get him in the summer, Haaland. But I mean 2 million that's what they get. So that's the decision he's going to have to make. I don't think it's a given he's going to leave that football club. I think from a footballing perspective, you would say, well, yeah, he's got to test himself in a better league and environment, but he could end up walking away with a Champions League winners medal this year. Yeah, we know the strength of the French league, but that financial package is, you know, you'd have to consider it, wouldn't you?
I think so.
Even for another year or two. This isn't a player maybe who's 26, 27 in his prime. You think, I want to go now, I want to go to Madrid now, or to the Premiership League and be in that league at my very best, at my pinnacle. It's
actually hard to know if PSG winning the Champions League makes him more likely to sail off into the sunset. I've done everything I can done here, or if it makes him say, oh, I can win Champions Leagues here and get 100 million a year, I'll stay. It's hard to know.
No, great. I think that's a fair point. My gut feeling tells me he'll move. I mean, now money's money, but I think we had a conversation with maybe Salah not too long. I mean, how much money do you need? That's probably magnified even more so in Mbappe's case.
You got a bit aggro in that conversation, so I don't want to go back to that.
No, we won't go back to that. It's just a point that I'm making. The numbers now are just so ridiculous. There must come a point where
makes no difference.
Yeah, really, in effect,
whether you get 100 million a year or 70 million a year, your quality of life day to day is the same.
He must have an ambition to go, whether it's to the La Liga, whether it's with Madrid, or even potentially to the Premier League, and prove himself.
The point I was going to make, so you were saying French League and he wants to test himself in a more difficult league. If I was Mbappe, and it's hard to know what a 23-year-old with the world at his feet is thinking, and he's a World Cup winner and he's kind of done everything. But if I was Mbappe, and you were saying, well, at 23, you could stay for 2, 3, 4 more years and then make the move to Madrid, for instance, I personally would be thinking, God, the Premier League looks good. I mean, my plan would be, let's go to Madrid and experience all that La Liga has to offer and do 3, 4, 5 years there, and then go to the Premier League as well and see what that's all about. You know, that's the footballing journey, as opposed to hanging out in League On for the next 4 years and then going to Madrid.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I mean, it's hard to put yourself in his shoes, really,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of kind of the level we played at. But to have the opportunity to go and play in that environment at a top club in Spain and in the Premier League, you know, have a significant amount of time there, wherever club it is, whether it's Barcelona, Madrid, whether it's Man United, City or Liverpool, and you know the qualities that you have, the ability that you have, and the impact that you can make at those clubs, the memories you can forge, the impact you can have.
If anything, there
must
would
be driving them.
be an argument to go to Man City first while Pep's there and while that thing is in great working order, and then let Madrid sort themselves out over the next 3, 4 years and then go to Madrid. But either way, he's got better options in life than me and you.
Yeah, it will be fascinating. I would really like to see him, because he has things his own way, obviously, in the French league. You know, we've seen enough of him in European competition, Champions League, to know the qualities, how good that he is. So I'd just like to see him. Yeah. I think you're tested differently. I think it's more of a mental thing. Premier League, La Liga to an extent, the better league, you're tested on a weekly basis. We know the individual qualities he has, but just in terms of the personality, psychology, mentally, how strong he is, the demands that would be put on him, even more so playing at those clubs, which probably he doesn't feel that so much at the moment, does he?
Yeah.
In terms of PSG, I think it would be a more demanded environment. So surely he wants to test himself and see could he perform at that level consistently in those leagues.
He can't spend the next few years like playing Montpellier at home on a Friday night. I mean, no. Tell me this, for people who are just tuning in, or there'll be a lot of people who are just listening to the podcast and wouldn't have heard you across the show, give us a brief summation of this match with 51 minutes on the clock so far. What would you say about it?
Well, I'm not going to give you a brief summation of the last 6 minutes because we've been yapping away. I haven't been watching the screen, but it was a better team first half, PSG. Madrid started better, high energy, kind of high tempo, front foot stuff, as you would have expected, first 5-10 minutes.
Better game than the first leg.
Yeah. Different kind of attitude. That said, didn't create too many clear-cut chances. Would have a half chance for Asensio, I remember, maybe in the box, a volley. But PSG settled after that and got a bit of control of the game for about, say, the next kind of 10-15 minutes. Verratti kind of prominent, just moving the ball in those central areas. Messi getting a few touches in the pockets. Mbappe
on the break,
particularly on kind of counter-attack, looking dangerous. Now front three beginning to link up a little bit. Neymar come a little 1-2 on the edge of the box. Neymar, Mbappe. Neymar got a shot off. There was a goal disallowed. You wouldn't say the goal was coming, but you sensed that, you know, they were certainly growing into the game, and they were the better team at that point. PSG when the goal came. Decent response from Madrid. Couple of half chances. Benzema was prominent. Couple of crosses into the box. There was you like that kind of in-swinging shot, didn't you, from outside the box? Donnarumma just fingertipped around the post.
Great save.
Yeah.
And would you say PSG, because the critique which would come their way, or the question mark, would be over work rate, not least amongst that front three. What are you seeing from Messi and Neymar and Mbappe on that front? To my eye, it just looks like they're saying, over to you lads, and we'll wait for you to win it back and then we'll go.
Well, yeah, I don't really think that's ever going to change, but that's why I said it was a well-balanced team. I'm kind of factoring that in because I look at that midfield three, Verratti and Paredes and Pereira.
You have a well-balanced team with three passengers.
Well, behind that, this is the best you can do. The counterbalance has to be kind of solid defensive unit, and then that kind of narrow midfield three. You can't carry anybody in that narrow midfield three when you're pretty much carrying that front three, and they don't. Paredes, Pereira in there, and Verratti quite tenacious, aren't they? Put themselves around, kind of make tackles and kind of give them that kind of defensive access, don't they, in that central area. Verratti in particular is the only we can get on the ball there and actually can get him playing. He can kind of conduct things a little bit as well, which is a bonus having him in there. When he's not in there, to be honest with you, Joe, and kind of Idrissa Gueye in there or Herrera.
Oh, goal. Mbappe.
Offside? I think he might be offside again, is he?
Oh, it's a pity. Neymar with the through ball, and Mbappe finished really well. Dummied, took it around the keeper, empty net. Neymar with the pass, seeing the replay, he is offside, Mbappe.
Yeah, he should do better.
Oh, it's a beautiful little dummy though. Beautiful little dummy to take Courtois out of the goal.
Doesn't matter.
We didn't know he was offside.
He should have done. He's looking across the line there. Militao, I think, actually stepped up the last minute. It was a good decision because there's no way he could have got across on the cover. So he made an early decision to take a massive step forward. But Mbappe, he should be putting the brakes on there. Just don't take the chance.
No, it's true.
It was a good finish. You're right. Little step over into the empty net.
You're still, and everything is relative here, so don't jump down Kenny's throat. You still wouldn't have Mbappe in the bracket of instinctive, brilliant, you can put your house on him finishers.
No, I don't. Not at this stage of his career. Up until now, what I've seen of him the last couple of years, it's a bit simplistic, but I always feel as if maybe he needs 2 good chances to score 1 goal. You know, if you understand what I'm trying to say. There was a chance early on before he got his goal, Joe. He almost 1v1 against Courtois on his left side, obviously, and it was a little bit of a kind of panicked finish, scuffed it into the ground a little bit. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I mean, to be fair, with his pace and playing in the teams he's going to play in, odds are he's going to get 2 chances most game and then maybe another one besides. Like this evening, he could have had 4, couldn't he? Yeah,
and it was a lovely finish for his goal, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
A little step up. But we've seen instances of him over the last couple of years playing for kind of France, big tournaments, and PSG. Moments have arrived. He just hasn't been quite clinical. And you're right, more opportunities will present themselves and he'll score his fair share. And it might be an every game which he'll improve as he gets older. His game understanding, even just kind of practice, you know, technically in terms of how he strikes the ball, decision making, you know, when he gets 1v1 with a keeper, etc., just a bit more experience. He probably will become a better finisher in time. But
who would jump to your mind as I'd put my house on him to score for me, or if my life depended on it? Ruud van Nistelrooy always gets mentioned. Natural finisher, not going to miss a chance.
For me, from my generation,
just I'm curious who jumped to your mind.
When I played, it would have been Fowler. Yeah, Fowler was always the one, half a chance, your heart sunk for me, especially on his left foot. Yeah. And he could finish with his right as well. And he was actually a good header of the ball as well. Robbie, I thought Fowler was the best finisher I probably ever saw. Didn't play with, obviously, but around that time when I played. Yeah. And he had every type of finish. I might have said this before, like previously. He had a fizzer through his laces off his left foot as good as anybody. You know, that like little 3/4 swing, that little backlift, just that driller.
It was a thing of beauty.
It was, and he obviously had the side foot. He could dink if he got too close to the keeper. He could dink it. He could drop. He could go around you, and even right foot, he was comfortable on his right side. And like I said, he wasn't going to out jump too many 6'4" defenders. But if he got a clear jump, you know, he was a good header of the ball as well. Yeah. So probably Fowler in that era. In the present generation at the moment,
well, I guess Ronaldo is the obvious, but give me something more interesting than that.
Yeah, I mean Haaland's an obvious one as well, considering his age. I mean, he seems, you know, he's pretty ruthless. Haaland. You know, I'm not saying in terms of repertoire. Yeah. He scores a load of different type of goals.
I still haven't seen enough of him. I'm only still Champions League Haaland. I don't watch him domestically. And same with Lewandowski, who probably is one of the more underappreciated global superstars.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right in that respect.
Premier League. Who's the best finisher of Premier League?
Salah, probably Mo Salah. It's difficult to get it's difficult to get away from it. Manchester City is probably nobody.
Salah has a miss in him as well. He hit the post twice last night. Hit the post twice last night.
No, he did hit the post. No, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't.
Salah does have a miss in him.
I'm not saying
a miss.
A miss. I'll give you.
Well, hang on. If you're saying Mbappe does, I can say Salah does.
Yeah, no, you can do. No, I think it's harder to argue that one in terms of Mo Salah isn't 1 and 2. He's more. They're probably 1.5.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, absolutely.
His finish the other night after Matt Doherty dink over the top, the left-footed volley, was outrageous.
Yeah, and even when he got played in, when he got played in behind, he'd acres of time. Sometimes that when you got acres of time, people, you know, everything goes through their minds. They can kind of overthink it. But with him, absolutely kind of ice cold. You know, his first touch out of his body, and then the eyes one, maybe a little bit like Mbappe tonight, opening his body up. You know, but he'd no defender between him and the goal. But no one exactly just going to wrap me foot around this and just whip it inside the near post.
Those in and time to think about it, one-on-ones, that's where I would feel Van Nistelrooy was just, okay, sure you can turn around and get ready for tip-off here. Never missed them.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, the best, they don't get phased any kind of situation. If they're a little bit rushed, no problem. You know, if they've got time, I'll take time.
So, sorry, that's a hell of a tangent. That's the game this evening. Liverpool 0, Inter 1 last night. This was on. We were keeping an eye on it. Myself and Dan were here in studio. You watched it a bit more closely. A year exactly since Liverpool had last been beaten at Anfield. There was the Lautaro Martinez goal, and then Alexis Sanchez got his second yellow pretty much straight afterwards, which maybe eased the pressure a touch. Lots of Liverpool fans, I'm sure, listening. What would you say about the game last night?
Yeah, a little bit bittersweet, I'd say, from a Liverpool perspective. Great, obviously they've gone through over the two legs and deservedly so. Just the fact they lost at home would have stung a little bit.
Were they good?
No, well, certainly weren't at their best. I thought it was a decent Liverpool performance. The game was too open for me. It was loose. It was box to box. It kind of ebbed and flowed. A lot of kind of transitions, Joe, just due to sloppiness, really. Both teams giving the ball away, giving the other teams opportunities to break.
Klopp said he wasn't happy with Liverpool pressing. The pressure they put on the ball at times.
Yeah, but then I think you have to look at the starting 11. So for me, not so much the front three. So it's always that midfield dynamic for me in terms of how good the press is going to be. So when you commit maybe to Thiago and say Curtis Jones and those number 8 positions, we pretty much know Fabinho is going to play. Don't be surprised if the intensity of the press isn't as good as potentially when Jordan Henderson and potentially Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita are in the team.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Now, do Henderson and Keita give you the kind of technical levels, the ball playing ability of Curtis Jones and Thiago? No, they don't. But what I would say last night, Thiago and Curtis Jones didn't really affect the game. They were very much on the periphery of the game. He couldn't get on the game and really dominate and control the game, which Klopp maybe would have wanted. Probably that was the reason why he put him into that centre midfield. Get on the ball, keep it, lend it, get it back, keep it away from the opposition, and kind of maybe dictate the game a little bit more than maybe what Liverpool are used to.
What you're describing there is what I would say, well, that should be in Thiago's wheelhouse, no?
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Didn't happen. Benzema, goal. Interesting. An hour on the clock. Real Madrid have equalised. So suddenly the whole complexion of this game has changed. We're just seeing a replay here. PSG were in possession. It's a pass back. Benzema's closing it down. It's a heavy touch. It's a second touch. It's panic stations. Vinicius Jr. pounces on it, plays it back into Benzema. Goal.
That's horrible.
Oh dear.
It's his touch. Donnarumma, his first touch gets stuck under his feet. When it's played back to him by Mendes, it gets stuck under his feet, Joe, so he can't dig it out. Now he has to take the second touch to get it out of his feet. That's when Benzema senses his opportunity. He makes a bit of physical contact with him, knocks him on his back. It's not a free kick, but he slices it back across the 6-yard box like Keystone Cops now, isn't it? Vinicius Jr. picks it up. Benzema switched on, just kind of darts back to the edge of the 6-yard box for a cutback before Donnarumma can get back into his goal. It's in the back of the net.
Fair play, Benzema chasing it down was, not the most guaranteed cause of his life, and he went for it anyway, and he got his just rewards. There's always that moment where goalkeepers, as good on the ball as they might be, when a certain moment of panic sets in, then you suddenly say, "Oh yeah, that's why you're a goalkeeper." Just revert back to not being able to kick the ball anymore.
Well, he done the right. It was just a bad first touch, was it? And you're right. If Benzema doesn't make that, if he doesn't see Benzema in his peripheral vision coming towards him, there's no pressure. That first touch isn't a problem. Then he can have 2 or 3 touches, Joe. It's the fact he senses, you can see it. Peripheral vision. Benzema's on his way. It puts a little bit more pressure on that first touch. It's got to be right, and it wasn't. He didn't get out of his feet. He had to have the second touch, and then he was banging trouble.
Yeah. Would Donnarumma have a reputation for bad feet? I'm just wondering why.
Now.
I'm just wondering why Benzema closed him down. Maybe just screw it. We're 2-0 down. I got to try something.
You have to. You're chasing the game. You're 1-0 down. You have to. It's a 2% chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
well,
why not?
It's worked out. So suddenly,
game on.
From sailing off into the sunset, it's game on. 2-1 down, 1-1 on aggregate.
We said game on. It was game on last night when Martinez got that first goal. You just sensed the woof.
Yeah.
Here we go. I was actually rubbing my hands thinking this is going to be an absolute crackerjack last kind of 25, 30 minutes, wherever it was. And then, of course...
Benzema! Oh, just wide. Header.
Said again, he's got Marquinhos is in trouble against him, isn't he? 1v1 again. 2 or 3 of these crosses first half trying to pick him out.
Oh, it was close.
It was close.
It looked in from our angle. And it's not one of those where you feel stupid afterwards because the TV camera did you.
So the penny's got to drop now with Marquinhos. He can't out-jump him. He can spring. He can't out-jump him. So if that was me there, I wouldn't even be jumping. I'd be staying on my feet and I'd just be making contact with him, pushing him under ball, whatever, just disrupting his jump. So in fact, I'm not going to head the ball, but there's no way he's going to get any significant contact in that because he can't 1v1. He can't out jump him. He's got to stop kidding himself on that he's going to win those headers now, Marquinhos.
That's interesting. Because you know what? I'd say if you've done that at times in your career, and
Well, I had to do it most weeks.
yeah, and if the striker scores the header and you've stayed on your feet, it could look like you really haven't challenged for the ball.
Well, yeah, but that's why you don't. You stay in your feet, but you actually make...
Nudge him. I know, yeah, but it wouldn't look good if Alan Shearer rose above you.
No, but it's subtle.
They'd be saying, why didn't Kenny Cunningham jump?
Well, you can't do. You make the contact at the right time. It doesn't take much just as the strikers having that maybe one step to propel himself into the air. Just the right amount of contact at the right time kind of unbalances him and means he can't get off the ground. Invariably, what happens then, Joe, is you get an easy head of yourself with your feet planted, or none of you head the ball, and it sails over both of your heads. So
that makes sense. So sorry, before we were interrupted by that goal, you were just saying about Thiago. I would have thought him getting the ball and playing the ball around and owning the game would have been in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, well, he wasn't able to do it. Him or Curtis Jones. So that's the kind, not conundrum, but it's one of the pluses of what Klopp has now, the kind of variety he has in that central midfield area. Harvey Elliott is another one now, comes into that category, kind of, very technical player. Oxlade-Chamberlain's a little bit more different, isn't he? More box-to-box, high energy type of player, a little bit more physicality there. Milner you could throw in there. We know, obviously, Milner's obviously nearly finished now. And Keita as well. So they're the options that he has. But they weren't able to do it last night. And funnily enough, going into the last 10-15 minutes of the game, and Inter had them, as soon as they had the players sent off, Klopp made a substitution. Jones and Thiago were off, both of them. Whoosh, you're off.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Henderson, he was the one in that last period of the game for me, more so than anybody. He was getting on the ball, he was lending it to Trent, give it back to me, recycling it, back to the centre halves, over to the other side of the pitch, back again. Just popping, just keeping
the game.
Yeah, just keeping the game, keeping the ball away from Inter, which is what they needed to do at that moment. But up until then, they hadn't got that measure of control. It was a little bit of madness to the game.
This is a tricky question. So you're allowed to just say no here, and we can move on. And it's tricky because you're not seeing training, so you don't know, for instance, who might have a tight hamstring or who might have a knock or all the stuff that goes on behind the curtain. Have you detected a pattern in terms of the midfield three that Klopp picks depending on the opposition? Are there certain attributes he goes for against certain opposition, or maybe at home versus away from home? Or is it actually hard to predict?
Well, I think he's got that luxury now for the reasons that I've said, because he's got like about half a dozen players now with different kind of individual qualities, Joe. So
would you be able to predict based on opposition or home or away who he's likely to go for?
I think by and large, when it matters, and that game, of course, it mattered last night, but they're 2-0 ahead from the first leg. If that had been last night and Liverpool were going into that game 0-0 or 1-0 behind, for me, Curtis Jones and Thiago don't play. Yeah. Fabinho and Henderson play. We've had this conversation before. Henderson, Fabinho plays, and you take your pick of one other. If you want that kind of aggressive, kind of high energy, high press in midfield, you go for an Oxlade-Chamberlain or Keita alongside them too. If you want to change it up a little bit, you throw Thiago or Harvey Elliott in there. Get someone more of a creative kind of technical level. So they're the kind of choices that you have. But I still think when push comes to shove, I still always feel as if Klopp will lean towards that kind of high energy, real kind of physicality in midfield. That means Fabinho, Henderson, and probably Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain for me at the moment. Okay, but it's great to have those. It's great to have those options. So there was logic in terms of what he did last night. You could argue maybe he was giving Henderson a bit of a rest. I think it's obvious this season, Henderson.
You mentioned that you were in before. It's a slight decline.
Little drop off, and he's looking after him. He's looking after him in terms of games. Even games he's playing, he's bringing him off 70, 75 minutes. That must be noticeable. Klopp has seen. They got to look after him a little bit. The days where he could just unleash Jordan Henderson Saturday, Wednesday, and not worry about him. I think those days maybe might be behind him. You might have to manage him a little bit more going forward. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, it was kind of like I said last night. It was just job done from a Liverpool point of view.
Okay, so that's Champions League talk done. The Irish manager has signed a new contract, which we should definitely talk about. We'll do that in just a moment. Just to let you know, oddly, having won 5-0 away from home, Manchester City at home to Sporting Lisbon, it's 0-0 after 70 minutes. Can you imagine how bored they are at the Etihad today? Imagine how boring that must be in the Etihad, watching Man City 5-0 up in aggregate, 0-0 after 70 minutes. I'd say they're just keeping the ball. Oh, it's miserable.
Well, it is, because funny enough, you say just keeping the ball. Even the Man United game there at the weekend, I mentioned it there off air.
Well, we'll come to that. We'll talk Man United, Man City. I've got to go to an ad break. That's why
fair
I'm
enough.
rudely. You don't take it personally. So it's 1-1 between Real Madrid and PSG, and it's 0-0 between Manchester City and Sporting Lisbon. We're going to talk a bit about Man City and Manchester United, and also Stephen Kenny's new contract in a moment. The football show is brought to you by Sky. You can watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League match live on BT Sport this season. Back with Kenny in just a sec.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Get more of the sports you love on Sports Extra with BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
On the latest Tech Talk, we'll take a closer look at how big tech has responded to the invasion of Ukraine. TikTok faces investigation in the US. We'll find out why. Plus, we'll look ahead to Apple's spring event, which is taking place this week.
Tech Talk.
With VMware.
Listen and subscribe to the podcast now on the News Talk app powered by GoLoud.
70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70. Choo choo!
Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring up to 70% off sale is now on. Everything's reduced. All tiles, all bathware, all wood flooring. Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring, 70% off sale is leaving the station. Sale now on.
Choo choo! Look, we need to have a chat, neighbour to neighbour. This is for laughing at how we say 33. And you can't even say Siobhan. And for claiming Saoirse, Katie and Niall as your own. For ruining words like banter. For it's coming home. For chain pubs and the state of the pints you serve. And for not caring as much about Ireland versus England as we do. But every year we get one chance. Our horses winning big on your turf.
Paddy Power, proud supporters of the Irish takeover at Cheltenham, March 15th to 18th. The Irish are coming. 18 plus, play safe. Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You know, it's not just appliances deliver. And if I can get my mouth around that, you can get your head around it too. Appliances deliver appliances aplenty. And more, like sexy wearables from Fitbit, Samsung, Garmin and Apple. And with Kenwood, KitchenAid and Ninja, they put the ooh in food prep too. Okay, maybe not. Still, if it's online, it's in stock, with next day delivery available. Proud part of Expert Electrical. Appliancesdeliver.ie. See it, buy it, get it tomorrow.
It's the colours, the styles, the fabrics, the on-trend designs and more. It's the home event at Easy Living Interiors, online and in-store. It's the velvet sofas and dining sets, the beds and luxury on view. It's incredible savings everywhere you look and expert advice too. Give your home a style refresh this spring with Easy Living Interiors. Check out our home event for amazing value. Easy Living Interiors, Cork, Waterford, Navan, Naas, Sandyford, Drogheda and Wexford. Sale ends Sunday.
This is a UNICEF emergency appeal. Over 7 million children in Ukraine are facing a humanitarian crisis. Our dedicated teams have been working in Ukraine for 25 years. Right now, they are on the ground providing clean water, winter kits and medical supplies. But we need your support. Please go to unicef.ie to donate now. That's unicef.ie to help protect children in Ukraine. Thank you.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Proud partner and supporter of the Republic of Ireland women's national football team.
This is News Talk.
Welcome back. Big chance, Vinicius.
Massive chance.
Left foot, leaning back, bouncing, skied it. Inside the area. Real Madrid are starting to poke holes here, aren't they?
Yeah, got raggedy PSG. Just gave it away again inside their own penalty box. They're at 6s and 7s there. A bit panic stations. Going through a difficult moment at the moment, PSG.
73 minutes in the clock, 1-1. They're 2-1 down on aggregate Real Madrid. Kenny Cunningham with us here this evening. Do you want the Man City team for this evening, by the way? This Man City team labouring against Sporting with their 5-0 cushion. So we have Ederson in goal. We have Conrad Egan Riley at right back. We have Egan Riley.
O'Reilly.
Conrad Egan Riley at right back. He's number 56 in the squad, Mick. You can have a check there. John Stones is playing, Laporte is playing, Zinchenko is playing. They have a midfield three of Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho and Gundogan. They have Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus and Phil Foden. 0-0 after 72 minutes. I wouldn't even say they're trying. I'd say they've had 98% possession.
Yeah, you imagine that's a tough watch. I'm guessing that's not a sellout at the Etihad tonight for obvious reasons. The Man City supporters have know the script, don't they?
Did you hear Jim Beglin on commentary a couple of weeks back?
No.
He accidentally called it the empty had on air.
Yeah, but this is the reason, and Guardiola's banged the drum about this before, isn't he, in terms of why aren't the fans coming out? But you can't kid the fans on, like.
No.
That's an unbelievably talented team. And there was periods that game against United the other night, absolutely exceptional. But they don't play at that level, that intensity for 90 minutes.
They don't need to.
And when it does drop off, Joe, boy, jeez, it's a tough watch. I couldn't watch the last 15 minutes of that game. I was in the pub watching the game at the weekend, the United game, and I was gone 3-1, 15 minutes to go.
What was the point?
Couldn't be watching that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did what they had to do. They're doing the right things. We spoke about Liverpool, weren't able to keep the ball for long periods, keep the ball away from Inter last night. Well, that's what Man City were doing, just keeping the ball, recycling it.
I'm sure you saw the stat of 92% possession for 15 minutes at one stage.
Yeah, but that means nothing to me, because at that stage, United almost were kind of dispirited. They weren't actually chasing Manchester City down. So that's a nothing tactic for me. When you have a team who's passing the ball across the pitch and an opposition team who've given up heart,
it was used. The stat was used to point out that Manchester United had thrown in the towel. But I understand why they threw in the towel at that stage. The game was over. They were broken. This was used, in the post-match by Roy Keane and various others to kind of make the point. This Manchester United side has no heart. How dare they throw in the towel? How dare they give up? It's unacceptable. It's shameful. And I understand there is a work ethic problem in the Manchester United team. At the same time, I think when you're that outclassed and there's no cohesion left, it is hard to summon the collective spirit to press together and work together. And you can look like you've given up very easily.
Yeah, exactly. We spoke about this off air, and I've a number of times over the years been in that kind of situation where you're trying to chase down a team, you're trying to get at them, the kind of desires there, the intent's there to go and do it and make tackles and, force, errors and turnovers and the whole shebang.
Benzema! Oh, what a goal. 2-2. Oh my God, 75 minutes on the clock. They've equalised. This is an unbelievable goal. It's an unbelievable goal all round. Vinicius gets it down. Vinicius Jr. gets the ball. He's through. He's sort of through. He has to check back. He's trying to jog past a player. There's nothing on. PSG get numbers back in the box. He slips it to Modric. Modric goes out wide, and then it's played through to Benzema. And geez, it's a real Benzema finish where he's on the right-hand side of the goal. And he's at a bit of an angle and he turns and he gets power. But it all started, Kenny, you can talk us through here. It started with Vinicius in behind and he had to check back. And in fairness to him, he didn't just shoot stupidly. He played a pass to Modric and kept the move alive.
He did. And it was actually Modric affected at both ends. He's the one originally who picks the ball up, wins the possession back on the edge of his box, Joe. And behind his years, he dribbles for about 30, 40 yards to the halfway line, top speed, plays a lovely ball in behind for Vinicius. And you're absolutely right after that. He knew he couldn't score himself, Joe. Cut back on the inside, scooped a little ball to Modric at the edge of the box. And shouldn't be surprised, the quality. He just slid it into Benzema. Hakimi, the right back, was actually keeping him on. And then it was just a case of finding the target. I think there was a deflection was it Marquinhos?
Yeah.
Marquinhos, who slid in front of him as he shot. I think there was a deflection off him, which takes past Donnarumma in the goal. What a reaction from Real Madrid.
Wow. Very interesting. 2-2 in aggregate. No away goals, of course. So we are level. Who'd you fancy on penalties?
Oh,
Vinicius in again. Oh, Real Madrid have scored. It's Benzema. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What just happened?
What are we saying about you can't get excited about these Champions League games anymore?
Oh my God. 3-1 Real Madrid, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Karim Benzema with a hat-trick.
What have they done, Joe?
What a finish. First time finish.
Outside of the right foot.
Oh.
Just nonchalant, just kind of punched it into the corner of the net.
How do you run on the ball at pace and finish like that first time?
On the kickoff. It's PSG's kickoff, Joe.
Yeah.
And they give it away within 3 seconds of the kickoff.
Great ball to Vinicius. He's dispossessed.
Ball in.
What a finish.
He does the same thing. He squared the last one, drives in behind the PSG defence. Is it Marquinhos who actually knocks the ball away?
Yeah, he tackles and it falls to Benzema's closing down. So the ball is basically played just to the edge of the penalty area, and in like a flash is Benzema. And first time outside of his right foot, he just spins that ball into the far corner.
And he's travelling a bit of speed as well. He's arriving.
That's not easy.
That's a big mistake. Speaking about Marquinhos there, in terms of Benzema getting the better of him, actually done well there wrestled the ball off Marquinhos, but he's trying to be a little bit clever. He's tried to pop it with the outside of his right foot. I don't know whether it was to Kimpembe or he thought one of the central midfield players was there, but he's only succeeded in popping it straight into the path of Benzema, who was coming onto it like a train, Joe, like you said. So to just sort his feet out and just pop it first time with the outside of his right foot into the corner.
Tell you what, Kenny,
finish.
Pochettino will be at Old Trafford by Friday. He's looking ashen face there. Oh my goodness. What a finish, Benzema.
Joe, fair play to him, Ben. First leg, Joe, he struggled. Then he was just back from injury, wasn't he? He looked a little bit kind of out of sorts, but in the space of, a couple of weeks, he's been bang at it tonight. Even first half, PSG with a better team, but he looked sharp, didn't he, in around the box?
Well, and it was Benzema who would be, at this stage of his career, inclined to say, well, I'm not going to bother chasing down a lost cause. It was Benzema who chased down Donnarumma, who got this whole thing started. And now suddenly he's got a hat-trick 15 minutes later. It's an absolutely extraordinary display from your forward, like every kind of goal there.
Yeah, it just shows you, Joe, kind of experience. You know what I mean? It's so easy to kind of dismiss it. Well, you know, but he's getting on a bit now. He can't run, he can't do. But even Modric, his part in those goals, like I said, that dribble up to the halfway line, the quality of the ball in behind for Vinicius, then the calmness to pick out Benzema for his finish. So massive part there, pivotal moment of the game. Modric has stepped up, and then Benzema himself high up the pitch. No wonder managers lean towards these players. They trust them. You know, the body of work that they've produced up to that point suggests if I need them. Key moments in the game, I can trust these players when that moment arrives, and that's exactly what Modric and Benzema have done in this second half.
And you know what, with all of France watching and the rather complicated relationship he has with the French public, he's going to enjoy that. He's going to enjoy that. That's extraordinary turnaround. I mean, PSG were home. They were 2-0 up. They've conceded 3 in about 10 minutes. There is something off with them.
You reckon that bit of a mindset frailty?
It's hard to pinpoint the word, but there's a frailty there, yeah, for sure, at this level. Like, really, 2-0 up, you should be able to see that out. Like, I wonder, does it cross Pochettino's mind at 2-0 to think to himself, Neymar, Messi, one of them off, somebody a bit more pragmatic with legs on. It does cross his mind, and then he thinks to himself, do I want one of them to, you know, blank me on the touchline when I bring them off and huff and puff? It must cross Pochettino's mind to take one of them off, mustn't it? At 2-0.
Yeah, but I think he's smart enough to know the situation. But to be fair, if you dissect those goals, Joe, you couldn't say, oh, manager's had a shocker there in terms of not making
No, I know, but just in terms of the flow of the game and just
I understand what you're saying there, but just individual stuff. But this one, like Champions League, we spoke about it briefly just when the two lads were in the studio. About Mbappe putting himself into a new environment and really trying to test himself, putting himself into a kind of real pressurised environment, having the demands placed upon him every week in a kind of better league. Now, this PSG don't have that week to week in the French league. We've spoken about that already. You know, when they go in front, generally speaking, they stay in front.
Teams
they
give
see
up,
the game out.
Yeah.
But not at this level.
No, it's a good point.
Against Real Madrid or other teams, that at some point they put it up to you.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be stress tested at some point in the game, and that's what Real Madrid have done to them second half, and they've folded a little bit. So maybe there's a little bit of that in it.
On CJ Egan-Riley, by the way.
Yeah.
Right back from Man City this evening. So Mick just checked there. Egan-Riley has represented England at every level from under 15s to 19s. He is also eligible to play for the Republic of Ireland through ancestry and represented the Republic in the 2018 Victory Shield. Now, he's been at Man City since he was 7. He's from Manchester. So there you go. There is an Irish link there. Text in, defender waiting on Benzema to come across the ball. F in hell. He was in like a flash, though. The Marquinhos tackle, Benzema's in.
The other defenders, like Kimpembe's the closest defender, and whatever people are around there, you can only react if he has that first touch. That gives you an opportunity for Kimpembe to react, but not when he takes the first time in the manner in which he did.
This is unbelievable. What were we talking about? Oh, the Manchester derby. Yeah, okay, they gave up to a point. I suppose.
You made the point. Yes, I always make the. I played in teams where you're behind a goal, 2 goals behind 20 minutes. Right, lads, we have to go after. The manager makes substitutions, so it's all there. The kind of commitment. I want to go and get the ball. I want to make a tackle. I want to try and make something happen. But you're a little bit out of sync. You're not as cohesive as you need to be. And Manchester City are the best in terms of their patterns of play in possession. In terms of you're not quite set up, in terms of your press, wherever it is collectively.
Yeah.
they'll pass through you. They'll make you look silly.
Yeah.
And you saw a little bit of that. Players going to press, getting played. And if you're running 20 yards high tempo, Joe, to press somebody down, and you get played around and made to look foolish, you're looking behind you, nobody's following you up, or the players behind, in unison aren't behind you, or you're not quite in sync in terms of what you're doing, very quickly you get dispirited and disheartened. And very easy then people can throw the criticism at you, well, you've given up, you've chucked it in. But the reason is you're just kind of disillusioned because you can't find the answer. Collectively, we haven't got it in us to go and get this ball back. The opposition team is too good, and their defensive setup really at the moment is a little bit disjointed. We can't really disturb this opposition team. I felt there was a little bit of that. You might say that's cutting them too much slack. I think you're right. There's underlying issues there as well. I think individual players have got issues. I think Rashford and Lingard, when they came on, you could argue chins were on the floor a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of that, and a bit. And
to be fair, there was the Hasenhüttl comments from a few weeks back that we know Manchester United don't like running back. So there's a work ethic problem already, and so that's why it's very easy to look at the quote unquote giving up on Sunday and think the worst, because there is a problem with work rate in the team. So that is an aspect of it.
There's not one simple answer to it, and I can understand. I think I read Roy's comment in terms of they've given up, and I suppose technically they did. Yeah. But there's reasons why you give up. I don't think in some of those players' minds it was I can't be bothered here. It was that real kind of disillusionment in terms of we can't get near these. Yeah. We can't pull ourselves together in terms and organise ourselves in a fashion where we can go after this ball and actually win it back.
PSG are an absolute shambles the last 5 minutes, by the way. An absolute shambles. They're losing the ball in their own half. It's last-ditch tackles. I mean, they've gone. Their heads have gone completely, and Real Madrid have a free from about 22 yards out. We're taking a very short break. I will talk about Stephen Kenny before we're finished this evening as well. Short break, and we're back in a moment. This free kick is straight into the wall. Rebound is wide. Back in 1 sec.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Get more of the sports you love on Sports Extra with BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Have you downloaded the LiveScore app yet? If not, you're missing out on more live UEFA Champions League action than anywhere else. And whether you're watching on your phone or tablet or casting direct to your TV, the free LiveScore app gives you even more ways to watch. LiveScore, the new home of the UEFA Champions League. It's more than a score. Download the app and watch Manchester United, Atletico Madrid and Ajax Benfica for free. And every minute of every UEFA Champions League game this season. Registered Republic of Ireland users only.
Leaving everything behind, people are fleeing the devastating conflict in Ukraine, and they urgently need food, water, blankets and shelter. 7 of the leading Irish international aid charities have come together to form the Irish Emergency Alliance, delivering vital emergency supplies where they are needed most. But we need your help to do this. Please give what you can at irishemergencyalliance.org, call 1-800-939-979 or text IEA to 50300 to give €4. Thank you.
Eileen can milk 49 cows in 57 minutes. Michael could wire a new kitchen in under 3 hours. And John can fix Sandra's shower, sink and toilet all before lunch. Fair play to you, John. These people are experts at what they do, so they work fast. We're experts in getting to know their business and helping it be better connected with Ireland's fastest mobile network. If you're a small business, switch to 3 Business from only €15 per month. Visit us in store or at 3.ie/business. 3 Business, where connections come to life. €15 per month for the first 12 months on our SIM-only plan, €25 thereafter, based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data for Q3 to Q4 2021.
On the night of April 3rd, we'll all come together to fill out our census forms. And the information you provide will help show where essential services are needed in every part of the country. So on Sunday, April 3rd, be a part of Ireland's future. Be counted. Visit census.ie to find out more.
Harvey Norman are your home appliance specialists with great deals on the biggest brands. Get the Bosch stainless steel fridge freezer with no frost technology and you'll never need to defrost your freezer. Now $499, save €30. Or get the Bosch fridge freezer with VitaFresh technology, keeping your food fresher for longer, just $789. And at Harvey Norman, we're matching all competitors' prices, even their sale prices. Shop in-store or online at harveynorman.ie. Harvey Norman, your home appliance specialists.
Go!
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, proud partner and supporter of the Republic of Ireland women's national football team.
This
Real Madrid
have scored. It's Benzema. Oh my God. Oh
my.
Jeez. Can we delete that? Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, you're better off. You're welcome back. Joe Molloy, Kenny Cunningham with you this evening. So Real Madrid look like they're going through. They're suddenly... That's awful to hear that. Oh my God.
That would have topped it off. Modric nearly put one in the top corner, Joe, didn't he?
They're 3-1 up on the night and 3-2 up in aggregate. So Stephen Kenny, before we lose track of ourselves completely, has been given a contract as expected. There's nothing really new here because we were pretty much aware that this was happening. So a contract up until 2024. So he's going to get the Euros. This after no win in his first 11 matches. Now he's had one defeat in his last 10, that only defeat being the Portugal match. 18 goals scored in those 10 games, by the way. He's given debuts to 16 players. Keith Andrews is staying on, Dean Kiley is staying on. Anthony Barry will be replaced. There is going to be a replacement for Anthony Barry, who's going to join Belgium for the World Cup. They have Nations League upcoming. Well,
in June.
Ukraine we don't know, obviously. But Scotland and Armenia in their group as well. And then this month, friendlies against what's going to be a Belgium B-side. Has pretty much been nailed on. And Lithuania this month. So Stephen Kenny, pen to paper, done. Was always going to happen.
I'm just surprised it took so long, Joe. I just thought it would have happened sooner after those string of games in November. I was asked at the time, do you think the manager deserves a new contract? I thought, yeah, I think he does. I think he deserves a contract till the end of the next qualifying campaign. It was based on that. It wasn't based on that in the first kind of 11 games. You know what a struggle that was. But the games that only really matter were the previous kind of 6 to 8 in terms of the improvement in the squad. And there was improvement there. It was coming together. It was getting better. And the team was really forging a bit of an identity in terms of the tactical setup of the team, Joe, and also personnel. I think there was a time, maybe a year or a half ago, where you could only have picked maybe 2 or 3, 4 of the starters really in terms of who was going to play. Whereas the last game that we saw, really probably 8 or 9, the back 3, wing backs, 2 in midfield, narrow front 3, and you could really pick maybe 8 or 9 of those players, which I think is a good thing. You're looking for that, a little bit of cohesion, exactly, and little kind of partnerships establishing themselves all over the pitch. So that was all good, and that's why I thought it would have been enough. I was surprised when it wasn't. I remember some comments where we're going to sit on a...
Well, do you want me to remind you the flow of it? So in September, there was the 1-1 draw at home to Serbia, and then it was a 3-0 win away to Azerbaijan. And then in the October, a few days on, they beat Qatar 4-0 at home and played really good football. And then it went down to, well, let's see how he gets on in the last 2 games against Portugal at home and Luxembourg away. And that was in November. And Portugal at home, it was all about Ronaldo. It was a 0-0 draw. And then Luxembourg away was a really good 3-0 win. And that kind of... that capped it out. I think it's done. Even everybody had to agree at that stage.
I think you're right. That was that general consensus. But it didn't happen, did it? I can't remember the comment. I went a bit quiet after that.
Well, I guess December is December, and then I don't know. To be fair,
look,
January,
it doesn't matter
February.
At the end of the day. We've got there. It's probably just taking a little bit longer, but I think it's the right decision, and I think it's a good thing. I think not just for obviously Stephen and the coaching staff, but even for the players themselves. I don't think it would have been ideal, kind of drifting the next kind of 3-6 months with those games coming up. The players looking at the manager, is he going to be here in 3 to 6 months? You could argue, well, that shouldn't matter. Players should be focused, doesn't really matter. But I think it kind of does get into your kind of mindset a little bit. So, I think it's the right decision. So, pleased for all the staff. And, actually looking forward to what's ahead. Because, like I said, those last couple of games, looking at the team thinking, this is getting better. I can see where we're kind of going with this. And a couple of those players that you've spoken about, Ogbene, was really impressed with the last couple of games. More in a kind of central striking position. And even the central midfield, Jeff Hendrick found a little bit of form in central midfield for us.
Josh Cullen, really.
Josh Cullen as well, very steady, reliable, nothing too flashy, but giving us a nice little solid axis in there. I'm more interested in terms of, I forgot the lad's name, Derby, Dublin boy. Centre midfielder. Oh my
brilliant.
God. Jason Knight, of course. Jason was missing for a couple of games in kind of September, wasn't he? But he showed enough for me of late to suggest, well, he could really come and improve us in that central midfield area.
There's talk of several Premier League clubs putting in money.
I like him. Box to box, Joe. Kind of high energy, very competent. Arrives late into the box, makes things happen as he did against Luxembourg, I think it was. So that's an interesting one. That could change the dynamic a little bit. Might have to find space for him in midfield. Might have to go to a bit of a narrow midfield 3.
Not to ask the age-old question, who's going to be the dominant Irish striker for the next 5 years, or even for this European campaign that Stephen Kenny has now. Troy Parrott scored last night, by the way.
Yeah, so I got a couple of goals last night. Yeah, I'm pleased to see that. May not have one for the next one. Someone's got to grab it.
We're sort of like Man City, are we?
Adam, no, not false nine. Callum Robinson obviously has some really good moments and scores some important goals for us. But still look at him, and I think he's more of a likes to drop in a little bit kind of deep and off the sides, and a little bit kind of similar to Dave McGoldrick in terms of the areas which he kind of occupies, as opposed to that kind of central strike. Adam Eade is probably that type, isn't he?
Waiting on Aaron Connolly to catch fire again.
Yeah, to an extent. Ogbene has done fantastically well, to be fair. So I think he's an option there as well. Yeah, again, like I was saying, for me, it's I'm looking at me more to maybe a central partnership. Maybe might be the way to go forward. Maybe Callum Robinson at the moment playing off a central striker.
And to be fair, we're forgetting, Eda's made a bit of an impact of late.
Yeah, he has. He had the injury at the wrong time. Yeah,
but he was scoring goals in the Premier League. I mean, we can't scoff at that. That was very impressive. By the way, it's gone full time.
It's over. Oh my God.
PSG. They're a disgrace. They're a disgrace.
Well.
Carlo Ancelotti. We were just saying off air. Is there any career to rival Ancelotti's CV wise? I mean, impact on football, Cruyff, player manager. But in terms of player manager, to have won what he's won, is there anyone even close? We couldn't think of anyone.
No, in terms of his playing CV, trophies as a player, and obviously and as a manager.
Mick can't either.
Yeah, it's very. No, I can't.
But by a distance, not even close. Pep obviously won European Cup as a player and manager, but
yeah, and even going back in there, Joe, the time he went a little bit of disarray there, club in kind of financial meltdown, can't bring any players in. He's brought in to kind of stabilise things, brought a bit of calmness, and that's exactly what he's done. His kind of personality, his demeanour.
He just goes in there.
He's got gets the players on side, Joe.
Just lifts one eyebrow and says, "Everyone relax. We got this. We're Real Madrid."
Yeah, I think you're right, but it's his personality, isn't it? In terms of how he manages players, it's that kind of human touch, I think, which he has. Joe hasn't done anything in terms of the tactical setup of the team, even in terms of personnel. It's pretty much as you wear it, isn't it? Generally, Cruz, Modric, that midfield area. Obviously, he's had to tinker a little bit at the back. Alba's come in, Benzema's up top.
Obviously, it's just big time players that he understands.
Yeah,
how they want to be treated, how they want to be spoken to as a group, what to say. The celebrations, by the way, it's like they've won the thing. Honestly, like Modric is like jumping into people's arms here. I mean, I'd say it's an amazing atmosphere in the stadium, so it's extraordinary. Someone's just texted in, Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, Donnarumma, Ramos, etc. are going to play Bordeaux at home at the weekend. Hilarious. I mean, they're going to win about 20-0. I'd say they'll go to town on Bordeaux at the weekend. But for Pochettino, and we've only about maybe less than a minute here, there's trouble.
No, my gut feeling tells him he's gone in the summer. But I've got to be honest with you. I thought he'd be my choice at Manchester United.
Well, he's now available.
I'm not sure he's their first choice. I would have pushed for him hard before Ranić came in. I thought it was actually an opportunity to go and get him before Ranić came in. I'm not too sure how much Manchester United pushed. Maybe somebody did pick up the phone to a contact at PSG and were told, no, not at the moment, maybe in the summer. Maybe that's why I didn't go any further. I would have pushed then. I'd be actually sorely tempted even to push now. I've got to be honest with you.
As United continue to descend into crisis, why not just rip the plaster and do it?
It's not. I mean, they're not out of it. Manchester United aren't sitting in like mid-table, and absolutely nothing to play for.
They will be in 3 weeks.
They will be in 3 weeks' time. Could you make an argument for Pochettino going in there now immediately and having an impact on that squad of players between now and the end of the season? I think you could make the argument. Not sure it'd happen for the reasons that we're saying, the problems they have. I'd love to see it.
We got to go. This was great fun. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Good man. Kenny Cunningham with us there. So that was the football show, as ever, with thanks to Sky. You can watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League match live on BT Sport this season. The boys will be on tomorrow, 7:30 as usual, OTB AM. Tom Dunn is on the way next.